Kristen. So yes, I'm here to talk about energy channeling. We all do it every day, but not everybody realizes it. Not everybody is in tune. You get busy, you're doing things, you're not realizing you're tapping in. Some people are more aware and they, are able to do it regularly. Essentially, what it is connecting with the energy of any like person, place, thing, spirits, deities, angels. It's all still energy channeling. Um, and I've been I've done it since I was a kid. I could see spirits, I could talk to spirits, but it freaked me out. I didn't know anything about it. It runs in my family, but it's not like it wasn't like a talked about thing. So like people just thought I was like looked at me like I was crazy, and so I was scared, and so I shut that off. Like I turned that part of me off, and I just ignored it. Like nope, I don't see this person walking by me. I don't see somebody standing here. This is creepy. Like I don't like it. The experiences would still happen. I would just still like, like nope, nope, don't see nothing. Um, and then as I got older, like around 31, 32 is when I started to have my spiritual awakening and I started to open up to that. And I decided I was gonna stop being scared. I was like, let me just tap in a little bit. Let me see what I could do. And they had a field day with that. So then I ended up like, oh, right here, me, and everybody. I'm like, okay, like you back off. Like too much at one time. Line up. Like wait a second. But as I started to tap into that, I started to be drawn towards more things. So I started to try doing meditation. And as cliche as it sounds, I highly recommend it because it allows you to kind of shut your brain off for a second and open up, and it allows things to come in. And so with having done that, I was led, like I started getting visions a lot. Didn't really know what that was. I'm like, am I hallucinating? Am I like kind of like losing it here? And through that, I found my mentor and my close friend who taught me about channeling and taught me about what that was, like kind of like the energy field, how it's like a normal thing, although a lot of people will say it's not. It is. So through that, I realized I had clairvoyance. And so in meditation, I would constantly start getting visions. I would get like some things I'm like, I don't know what this means. Still to this day, I'm like, I don't know what you were showing me. I don't know what that means. Write it down because sometimes it will play a part. Like it will come back, like you'll have that experience or something will trigger that memory. Like, oh, okay, now I know what that was. Like one time I actually had like a vision. It ended up being a premonition of a man in like a construction outfit with glasses showing me like a machine. And I'm like, where would I ever go where somebody in a construction outfit is going to show me something? I was like, that's really weird. Flash forward to a few months later, my current job that I do now, that exact experience happened. I was on the job, I was training for my new position. I work in fiber optics, so he was showing me the machine I was going to be using to do testing. And literally, I walked up to like the work truck we were in, and he started showing me how to use the machine and what I was going to be doing. And then I had that realization, like it clicked. I was like, wait a minute, why did I feel like I know him even though I've never met him before? I was like, oh my God, it's the dude from the vision. I'm like, that's what that was. It was kind of telling me like I was going to have this experience down the line, but at the time I didn't know that. So more things, the more I started to do it, the more it started to come, things started to come in, and I started to get visions of like deities. Like the spirits would start talking to me more. The angels, everything started kind of flooding in. So through that, I then started to have like the claircognizance, which is like just knowing things, like thoughts popping in that I knew that weren't mine, that were coming from something else, like a channeled message, something like that. And then slowly all the clairs started to develop, but my primaries are clairvoyance and cognizance. But because I started like opening myself up and allowing things to come through, I was starting to be able to trust what I felt led to do. And when you feel led to do something, you should do it because you're opening up that pathway. So then it allows for you to, connect with something you didn't think that you would want to do before, or realize you have gifts or things like that because you allowed yourself to be like, okay, I feel drawn to this. Let me go learn about it. Let me see what it is and how I connect in. And then all of a sudden things start happening for you and you're like, wow, this makes so much sense. I should have been doing this like a long time ago. And so it's definitely one of those things where it's like you don't realize, but like the more you open up to it, the more you allow like, everything to kind of like flow through and things to open up for you, opportunities to open up for you, certain things like that. So, kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry. I don't normally stand up here and do lectures, but I was being pushed to do it. My spirit team was like, "Go for it, go all in, just do it." I was like, "Fine, whatever." um, so some experience, like examples. Have you ever walked by somebody and you got like a weird feeling, or you felt something like strange, like something brushed by you, or you had like a thought and you're like, "Where did that come from?" You were connecting to that person's energy. You didn't realize it, but you were tapping in to that person's energy. If you feel led to go to a place you've never been to before, you don't know why, but you feel drawn to go there, you go there, and then you start having like experiences, like you start smelling something that reminds you of like a childhood memory, or you're like, wait a minute, like I swear I've seen this place before, but you've never been there. You're tapping into the energy of the place, and it's like, by you doing that, you're allowing some guidance to come through. It's reminding you of something, or it's going to trigger something to happen for you that you may not have been paying attention to before, and you would have ignored it. It definitely comes in handy. It can save you from like bad situations sometimes if you're tapped in and you're paying attention. You get that, if you listen to that gut feeling of like, hey, don't go that way. You don't know why, but you're like, don't take that way today. You get home, and you're like, oh, there was a really bad accident. Like that could have been me. Like that was your spirit team, your intuition being like, hey, like pay attention, don't go this way because this might happen to you, like trying to help you steer clear. And so I definitely encourage that if anybody is interested to start. I would start it with meditation, and then go from there. But if you feel called to do something, there's something you feel like called to learn, or like something you just really feel like, man, I really want to do that, but I'm not sure, or nah, I don't really want to, it just seems like too much, whatever, go for it. Because you're being led to that for a reason. It could be something you were supposed to do on your path in this current lifetime, but you were ignoring it. And trust me, sometimes when you ignore it, often it will happen in one way or another. It just may not be the way you wanted. Because they will, from my own experience, your spirit guides will get through to you some way, somehow. Like they will make you like, okay, sit down. This is what's gonna happen. And it may be through a bad experience or something else, and you're just like, damn, okay, my bad. Like I should have listened to you. And they're like, yes, like if you were paying attention before, we could have got this the nice way, right? But so that's it started from there, and then it started to grow, and then I started to realize I could do all these things, and it led me to being drawn to doing Reiki initially. From there, I was, because I'm very connected to like Egypt and the Egyptian pantheon, and I realized like through these experiences, through meditation, through channeling, that I've had many of past lives in ancient Egypt, and I worked very closely with some of the deities, which is why I'm so connected to them and I can channel for them. And so that led me to doing what I practice now, which is ancient Egyptian form of Reiki called Sekhmet Reiki, where I channel the deity Sekhmet. She's a lioness, like a lion head goddess, and she's a warrior, but she's also for healing. And so through her, I channel her energy, and I do energy healing for people. And like that feels so right. Like once I finally started tapping into that and I started doing it, and people have been telling me like the amazing experience they got from that, like I realized like that's my purpose, like that's part of my path. And so it's like once you start being able to tap in, you start to realize like, wow, like I should have been doing this the whole time, or I should have gone in this direction, or I should have did this. And it makes things easier for you, because like, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I'm hard-headed, so sometimes I take the hard way. And I'll do things the long way. And I'm like, damn, like if I would have just listened to what I felt the first time and not, took the long way around, this would have been a lot easier. So by learning to tap into your own energy and be open to your experiences and what you feel around you, it really does help you, because it'll make your path easier, make your life easier. And that's kind of what we want, right? We came here for a great experience, to, have fun, to, joy, experience everything, but also... Yeah, but, we came here for experiences, but we also came here to kind of like be in control and kind of do our own thing, live the life that we wanted to do, which is why we chose to come here. So it's amazing. It's an incredible thing. I highly, recommend doing that. Do what you feel led to do. But there is some fun experience, like exercises you can do to kind of like practice tapping into your own energy. One of them is if you kind of put your hands together and you start rubbing them like this, and you feel it heating up, you know, and then you kind of like start going like pulling it. You feel like the tingling. Do you feel like the stretching? You can. Some people feel it. Some people see it. I can do both. But yeah, you might have to do it a little bit more. Be a little more open. But yeah, if you start to kind of pull, like, do you feel like the tension? Like you feel something pulling apart? Yeah. So I mean, you can practice it more, but that's one of the ways to like start connecting with your own energy. Another one would be to take your dominant hand and you close it real tight, and you focus all the energy in your body to go to that one area. And once you feel it there, when you let go, you feel like that release. You feel it all shoot back down and go flow back through your body. Did nothing for you that time? That's okay. It takes some practice, but there's different things you can do. The more you start to pay attention and be in tune to it, the more experiences will happen to you. So now if you walk out here and you start paying attention as you walk by somebody, you'll pick up on things that you didn't like pick up on before. You might channel a thought that they had that you're like, oh, okay. Or you might feel like joy coming from them, or you might feel anxiety or something like that. You know, you'll feel different things, you'll pick up on different things. That's also something I've been able to do since I was a kid. I've been like an empath, and I didn't know what that was, but I used to always be able to channel what was going on with somebody else. And I knew before they would even say anything to me. I just thought it was like a weird thing I could do. So when they start to go to say it, I'm like, oh, like you're feeling like this, or oh, you just had this happen, didn't you? And they're like, how'd you know that? I'm like, I don't know, I just knew. Like I just felt it come off of you. I could tell like you were being, in like a weird energy, like something just happened. So the more you do it, the more you'll be able to pick up on things, the more you'll be able to use it in your daily life, your daily practices. And that's pretty much what I have. If I talk too fast or I went through something too quickly, my bad. If you have any questions, go ahead. Well, I'll be upstairs. If anyone wants to come find me if you have questions, you're more than welcome to ask me.